Ever ordered something online and it just like magically appears a couple of days later?
It's amazing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So today we're taking a deep dive into the tech that makes those super fast deliveries happen. Spoiler alert. It's all about AI and how it's like completely transforming operations and logistics.
Yeah, it's really incredible how much AI is changing the game behind the scenes.
Right, we're talking smarter routes, warehouses that are straight out of a sci-fi movie, and even AI that can like predict what you need before you even know you need it.
It's wild.
So instead of just being amazed by how fast it all is, we're going to, unpack the how and the why behind it all.
Yeah, I mean, what's so fascinating is that we're way past the point of AI being like this futuristic idea in logistics. It's already here, working behind the scenes to optimize everything about how we get stuff delivered.
Okay, so let's break it down a bit. When we say AI in logistics, it's easy to picture like robots taking over the world, right? But it's way more nuanced than that, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Think of AI more as a really powerful tool. It lets us make like super smart decisions based on tons and tons of data.
Okay, so instead of picking out a new book, AI is making sure that book gets to me in the most efficient way possible.
You got it. And it's not even just about speed, it's about making every single step of the process better, being more efficient, saving money, and even being more sustainable.
Okay, so give me an example. Where is this really making a difference?
One area where it's really taking off is in predicting what people will need to be shipped in the future.
It's like having a crystal ball for your inventory, knowing what people want before they even order it.
Exactly. Take Amazon, for instance. They use AI to look at massive amounts of shopping data so they can anticipate how demand will fluctuate, like during big shopping seasons like Black Friday and the holidays. This helps them get their inventory, staffing, and logistics all lined up to handle those huge spikes in orders.
So while I'm busy adding to my cart, AI is already working behind the scenes to make sure there's enough stuff in stock and enough delivery drivers to handle the rush. That's
It's pretty impressive, right? And what's even more wild is how accurate AI can be with these predictions. Like Uber Freight, they use AI to predict how much stuff people will need to transport.
Uber Freight, like the ride-sharing company?
Yep, they have a whole freight division. They use data from manufacturers, like how much they're producing, economic indicators, even the weather to predict how many trucks they'll need on the road.
Okay, that's interesting. The weather, too.
Right, because weather can impact shipping in a lot of ways. And they're getting it right over 97% of the time.
97%. Seriously, how is that even possible?
It's honestly amazing what AI can do. It can pick up on these tiny patterns in huge sets of correlations and trends that traditional methods would totally miss. This means fewer trucks driving around empty, which is a much more efficient use of resources.
And better for the environment, too.
Exactly. So it's really a win-win.
It makes you wonder, like, what are the limits of this AI prediction stuff? If they can predict truck orders that accurately, what else can they do?
That's the exciting part. We're really just scratching the surface of what's possible. As these algorithms get smarter and have more data to learn from, who knows what we can achieve?
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. But let's talk about the actual journey those packages take.
Mhm.
We've all been there, right? Waiting for a package that's stuck in transit or delayed because of traffic. It's the worst. Can AI help with that logistical nightmare too?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, that's another area where AI is already making a huge difference.
Okay, tell me more. Because like I said, battling traffic is the worst.
Well, remember when we talked about the vehicle routing problem, or VRP? It's basically figuring out the most efficient way to get multiple vehicles to make all their deliveries when you've got all these constantly changing variables.
It's like planning the ultimate road trip, but with like hundreds of stops in traffic that never stops changing. Sounds like a nightmare.
Exactly. But luckily, AI is amazing at figuring out those complex scenarios. Instead of using old maps or outdated GPS, AI can analyze what's happening in real time. We're talking traffic patterns, weather conditions, delivery windows, even things like gas prices and whether there are even enough drivers available. It uses all of that to figure out the best routes possible.
So it's like having a super intelligent co-pilot that's constantly adjusting the route based on what's happening on the road right that second.
Yes. And the results are pretty impressive. UPS, for example, uses a system powered by AI that has helped them cut down on their delivery trucks' mileage by over 100 million miles annually.
Wow, 100 million miles. That's a lot of gas saved.
Right. And just think about the environmental impact, too. That's a lot less pollution.
It sounds like in this case, at least, AI is a win-win for both companies and the planet, which is pretty cool.
It definitely has the potential to be. And it's not just delivery trucks either. FedEx, for instance, uses AI to optimize the routes that their couriers use so they can get those packages delivered on time. Even freight companies like Convoy are using AI to schedule their trucks full of goods more efficiently, so it's making the entire transportation system smarter and more sustainable.
That's really impressive. Speaking of efficiency, what about those gigantic warehouses companies use? I bet AI is changing those too. You know, those massive warehouses that companies use, like to sort and get all those packages ready for delivery.
Oh, yeah.
I bet those are being totally transformed by AI too.
Oh, absolutely. We're talking about like next level automation in those warehouses. Stuff that would seem like Straight out of a sci-fi movie a few years ago.
Okay, now I'm picturing like robots zipping around, moving packages at warp speed. Is that what's actually happening?
Yeah, pretty much. Imagine this. You walk into this huge warehouse, and instead of rows and rows of people working, you see hundreds of robots just like gliding through the aisles, picking and packing orders super fast and with crazy precision.
Wow, so it's not just about planning routes anymore. AI is like taking over the physical work in the warehouses too.
In a way, yeah. Think of it like a well-choreographed dance between robots and humans. It's all about maximizing efficiency, right?
Right.
Robots are awesome at the heavy lifting, the repetitive stuff. Like humans would get bored or tired doing that, but robots, they just keep going.
They never need a break.
Exactly. And then you've got the humans who are great at like quality control, making sure everything looks good, and dealing with any surprises that come up.
Makes sense. Do you have any examples of companies that are doing this really well?
Oh yeah, tons. Rakuten's, they're a big online retailer in Japan. They have some of the most automated warehouses in the world.
I've heard of them.
They use robots powered by AI that bring shelves of products to the human workers, and then the humans put the finishing touches on the order.
So it's like a team effort,
Yeah.
robots and humans working together.
Exactly. And it worked. I mean, Rakuten's warehouse, it can handle a ridiculous number of orders every single day.
How many were talking?
Try 1.1 million.
1.1 million every single day.
Every single day.
That is, wow. That's amazing. And also, like, a little bit scary. What happens to all the people who used to have those jobs as AI gets more and more capable?
It's a really important question, and there's not an easy answer. It means we need to change and adapt how we work alongside these new technologies. One really important thing is that companies need to focus on training their employees, teaching them new skills so that they can succeed in this new world where AI is everywhere.
So instead of being like the robots are going to take over, it's more like, how can we use AI to make our jobs better?
Exactly. It's not AI versus humans. It's AI and humans
I like that.
working together, using AI to become more efficient and productive.
That's a much better way to. Okay, but let's talk about something that really does seem like it's straight out of the future. Autonomous vehicles. Are we really going to see driverless trucks and delivery drones? Is that really the future of logistics?
It very well could be. We're seeing so much money being poured into this tech right now. Companies are really taking it seriously.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen those self-driving trucks being tested on the highway.
Yeah, like Tesla, for example, they're working on it. Embark, Too Simple, all big players.
Ah,
And they're all making some really cool progress with self-driving trucks, especially for those really long delivery routes.
long-haul trekking.
Exactly. And then you've got drones.
Right.
They're already being used for package deliveries in some places, especially for those smaller packages.
So it sounds like we might see a future where there are driverless trucks on the highways and drones dropping off packages at our doors. What's the holdup? Why isn't this happening already?
Well, there are still some hurdles to overcome. On the tech side, autonomous vehicles need to get even better at handling really tricky situations.
I can see how that could be an issue, especially with like crazy drivers out there and unexpected things happening on the road.
For sure. They need to be ready for anything. And then there's the whole other side of it, the ethical concerns that people have.
What kind of ethical concerns?
Well, one of the big ones is jobs, right?
Yeah. What happens to truck drivers if the trucks can drive themselves?
Exactly. It's a valid question. And what about safety?
Right, making sure those self-driving vehicles are actually safe.
Exactly. We need super clear regulations, and we need to know who's liable if there's an accident. It gets complicated.
Wow, yeah. It's not as simple as just saying, let the robots drive.
Definitely not. These are all big questions that we as a society are going to need to figure out as this tech keeps developing.
It's like you were saying earlier. It's not about replacing humans. It's about figuring out how we can use this tech responsibly.
Exactly. So yeah, while there are challenges, there are also huge potential benefits. Just imagine, driverless trucks could run 24/7.
No more drivers needing to stop and sleep.
Right, which means faster deliveries, potentially using less gas and creating less pollution, which is amazing.
Right, and drones.
They could be huge for making those really fast, super flexible deliveries, especially in those hard-to-reach places where it's harder to deliver stuff. Think about it, like delivering medicine to a rural area.
Wow, yeah, that would be game-changing.
Yeah.
Okay, so autonomous vehicles, potentially revolutionary. But with all this talk about AI and robots and everything, let's not forget about, us.
You're human.
What's our role in all of this? I mean, what happens to people like me in a future where logistics is all, like, run by AI?
Such a good point. And honestly, that's something we need to keep at the forefront of this whole conversation. It's not about replacing humans altogether. It's about using AI as a tool to enhance what we can do.
Okay, I like that.
Humans are still going to be super important in this new world. I mean, we're the ones designing, implementing, and managing these AI-powered systems.
That makes sense.
We need human creativity, We need problem-solving skills to make sure that we're using AI in a way that's smart and ethical.
So it's all about finding that right balance, that sweet spot between human smarts and artificial intelligence.
Exactly. The future of logistics isn't going to be robots versus humans. It's going to be about figuring out how to leverage both to create an industry that's more efficient, more sustainable, and honestly, just better for everyone. However, we've got to acknowledge that there are definitely some big challenges when it comes to bringing AI into logistics. One of the biggest is data integration.
Data integration. Okay, so like, what does that actually mean in the context of logistics?
So think about it. The logistics industry, it's built on all these different systems. They manage transportation, warehouses, customer orders. It's a lot. And to get AI to really work its magic, all those systems have got to be able to talk to each other. They need clean, accurate data flowing between them.
So it's like trying to build this super fast, super smart computer, but the parts don't really fit together yet.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Without that really solid data foundation, even the most advanced AI, it's not going to be able to live up to its potential. It's like having a Ferrari, but giving it the wrong fuel, you know?
It's not going to run as well.
Exactly. And another challenge is, we need more people who get both AI and logistics.
People who can code and manage a supply chain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine data scientists who can build these super complex predictive models for shipping routes, AI engineers who can design those, crazy efficient automated warehouses, and then logistics managers who actually know how to take that tech and make it work in the real world. Finding those people is hard.
It's like we need a whole new generation of logistics wizards.
Right. And we need to start training them, now.
Totally. Okay, so before we wrap up this deep dive, let's circle back to that question of a fully automated future. Are we really headed towards a world where it's just robots running the whole logistics show?
It's the question everyone's asking. And it's a big one. It's true that AI has the power to automate a ton of jobs, but we need to remember that at the end of the day, it's a tool. We decide how to use it.
They still have the power.
Absolutely. It's not some predetermined future where robots take over and we're all out of jobs. The future of logistics is something that we're actively creating right now with the choices that we're making today.
I like that. It's empowering.
Right. So the question isn't robots or humans. It's how can we find that balance, that synergy between automation and human ingenuity?
To make things better for everyone.
Exactly. To create a logistics industry that's more efficient, that's better for the environment, and that ultimately works better for everybody.
It's about progress, but progress with a purpose.
Yes, progress with a purpose. Love that. That's what the future of logistics is all about.
And that is a fantastic note to end on. So everyone listening, the world of logistics is changing fast and AI is driving that change. But remember, it's not just about cool tech. It's about how we can use that tech to build a better future for everyone. So next time you see that delivery truck pull up, take a second to appreciate the awesome combo of technology and human ingenuity that made it happen. Until next time, keep those questions coming and keep exploring.